I grew up in the home of a small business owner. My dad owned a construction company, and the entire company consisted of him, his superintendent, and my mom. This made for a lot of work for my parents. They felt like they never stopped working. Oftentimes, they were over their heads with deadlines to hit, new bids to put in, and the paperwork just kept stacking up higher and higher. As a child, I would have never known that they felt this way. My mom seemed like a stay-at-home mom to me, and my dad never missed a music or dance recital. He helped build all of my homecoming floats for student council, and he never missed a significant event during my childhood. How did they balance work and family life? How can you balance work and family life as a small, family-owned company? I read in a survey 5 steps to help you balance both work and family life. The first step is to establish your priorities. We all know that both work and family life are important, but you have to decide what takes precedence in both areas. You shouldn't have to neglect one area and only focus on the other area. An example of this would be if you have a child who was very ill and needed to stay home from school that day, and you just had a regular work day without any pressing meetings. You should stay home with your child. On the other hand, if you had a very important meeting that day, you should probably attend the meeting rather than taking your family to the lake. You may come across dilemmas that are much more complicated, but if you have established your priorities, you will have an easier time making the choice when the time comes. You have to establish your priorities. The second step in balancing work and family life is to create a list of family goals and establish a deadline. Just like it is necessary for you and your family to have you fulfill your responsibilities at work, it is also necessary for you and your family to have you fulfill your responsibilities at home. Life happens so fast that we oftentimes make plans and goals that never get completed. An example of this includes taking that family on that special trip that you've been talking about for years, or a holiday tradition that you have yet to put into place that you've been meaning to incorporate. Don't delay another day. Start planning to achieve your family goals today. You won't be able to accomplish every goal right away, but you can just start to get the ball rolling. Make sure that you and your family are keeping in touch with your goals and staying on top of the process of achieving that specific goal. For example, if you are planning to take a dream vacation with your family, make sure that you have researched how much money it will cost and decide when you will plan to take the vacation. Then sit down and figure out how much money you should be putting away each month until the vacation takes place. Sit down with your family and make plans. The third step is to review your calendar to benefit your family as your work obligations change. If a cancellation in your workday occurs and you have a free hour or two, use that time with your family or use that time planning a future event with your family. This could be as simple as taking a drive in the car to get hot chocolate and look at Christmas lights, or sitting down with your family for a movie and popcorn. It could also be a bigger event, such as taking your family to see a show, or going bowling and out to dinner. Family time also consists of a date night with your spouse. If you have a healthy relationship with your spouse, it is likely that you will have a healthy relationship with the rest of your family members as well. If you schedule your family time activities with the same seriousness that you schedule your work meetings, you will find success in creating time for your family. The fourth step is to develop your time management abilities so that you are able to give your family their due time. If you develop good time management, there is no reason why you can't spend quality time with your family. This may at times mean that you learn how to say no when a coworker asks you to help on a project that you cannot fit into your schedule. Although you may just be ending your workday, your family day is just beginning, and they deserve your attention as well. Make it a priority to sit down with your family and schedule your time accordingly. If you use your time management appropriately, you will be surprised at how much extra time you actually have to dedicate to your family. I know that at times I feel like my husband lives at the office. But every week when I reflect on the week we've had, I feel like we have taken good advantage of our time as a family. Time management is crucial. Use your time wisely and don't forget to schedule a little time for yourself as well. The fifth step is to keep the communication lines open with your spouse, and don't be afraid to voice your concerns about the lack of imbalance between home and work. On the other hand, don't be alarmed when your spouse accuses you of the same. Both you and your spouse need to be on the same page when it comes to balancing work and family life. You should plan and organize together. Without both parties on the same page, it is almost impossible to successfully balance both work and family life. You need to understand where your spouse is coming from, and they need to be involved and understand your schedule and priorities as well. If there is minimal tension between you and your spouse, there will be minimal tension in your family as a whole. Learn to compromise with your spouse and take turns choosing activities and planning out your family schedule. My parents did what they had to do to balance both work and family. They established an office at home so that they could continue working if necessary once we went to bed that night. Or they would wake up early, an hour or two, just to get a few things done to make it so they didn't have to stay late at the office. This could also include waking up early on a Saturday to finish a few hours before your family wakes up. I know that this is not always an option, but if at times it is, take full advantage of it. Now that I am married, and my husband is now in his career, I feel like there are times when he has to spend extra hours at the office. At times like this, he will go in an hour or two early to work, or ask me to keep our son up a little later that night just to make sure he gets to spend just a little more time with him. You have to do what works best for you and your family. Statistics show that 44% of men ages 34 to 54 say they do not have adequate work life and family life balance. 30% of employees often or very often feel burned out or stressed by their jobs, and 27% feel emotionally drained from work. 42% feel used up at the end of the workday. Don't be in these groups of people. Follow these steps to balance your work and family life. I know that it can feel